start streaming. Yes, I want to start streaming. The event is starting. And we are officially live on YouTube.
Hooray!
And Dr. Z Pucci is in within the first second.
Holy crap.
What's up, Dr. Z Pucci? He was waiting for that one. He was sniping that.
Welcome.
Man.
Welcome.
Alright. We have officially been live for 20 seconds, and we haven't said anything worthwhile. Oh, no.
Well, I haven't advertised them. Still planned on my end, so, you know.
So, guys, sorry.
Okay.
Just gonna say welcome to Recycle Blend, episode number 19. I'm Johnny O with Tito Tech Tube. I can't even get it right. 20 episodes, or almost 20 episodes in, can't get anything right. We've got Bear here with If That's the Case, as always.
I'm actually, if that's the case, with Bear.
Oh, jeez. Anyway, so another wonderful show for you. So we're gonna actually do PC Part Picker Challenge this week. I think everybody's prepared. I haven't touched my list since last week, so hopefully it's still good.
Oh no.
So I do have if you're here for the giveaway announcement, we're going to do PC Part Picker Challenge, then the giveaway announcement, and then we'll roll into our news topics for the night. And Dr. C. Pucci said the alarm works, so I guess he got the notification from the YouTubes. Awesome.
Perfect.
Oh no, that's right, he has an alarm set, right?
Yeah, he had an alarm set on his phone.
Yeah, that's what it was. 2
different alarms. One was like waking up, and the other one was being here.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Oh man, that's awesome. I'm glad we have at least one fan that's that dedicated. Anyway, so without further ado, we'll go and roll into it. We'll go and jump ahead into the PC Part Picker Challenge.
Alright,
so,
you go first.
So I just want to give a quick introduction to what it is and what we do here, because we both have a lot of new people, so I just hit my mic, sorry about that. So PC Part Picker Challenge was actually suggested, I can't talk, by Dr. Z Pucci, and basically each week we come up with a challenge for a PC build for each other, usually around a theme and a budget. This week it's only a theme. And then we have a couple of things. The parts have to be picked from PC Part Picker. They must be compatible. There must be a price and availability via PC Part Picker, and the final price cannot include any mail-in rebates. So we turn it to the audience, that's you guys, to vote on which build they like the best. We give you a week to vote, and then on the following live stream, we'll announce who the winner was. So with that, last week's challenge was a $1,000 professional 3D applications PC focused on multi-core, multi-threaded performance, and using CUDA acceleration. Again, for $1,000. So we'll go ahead and jump into the results. If I can learn how to left click. And 1 vote for me. Oh, we announced this last week, didn't we? Bear, I've lost your audio. I don't know if you have anything on the stream.
Yes, sorry. That was,
okay,
I had muted myself. I had a quick side conversation. Yes, we announced that last week.
Yeah, after I clicked the results, I was like, wait a second, this is very familiar. Deja vu. Alright, so, that's right, Dr. Z Pucci remembers the Part Pickle Challenge.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of our Watergate. Anyway, so, a little picklegate going on.
A picklegate?
Okay, sorry, my wife texted me and I'm not sure what she meant. Anyways, very confused. Okay. Sorry. Completely distracted. So, I think, Barry, you said you wanted me to go first?
Yep, you go right ahead.
Alright, so, again, I don't think we announced what this challenge is, but it's a Marvel-themed PC with no budget. So, I think a fair amount of thought into my build here. So I've got, well, I'll go through my part list, and then I think you'll kind of pick up on what the theme is. So, Intel Core i9 7900X 10-core processor, the NZXT Kraken X62, so we got them RGBs, and there's going to be a lot of RGBs in here. Gigabyte X299 Aorus, just give you a look at how much RGBs there are in this motherboard, basically the entire thing. 8 by 16 gig kit for a total 128 gigs. And thanks Dr. Zipucci for the congrats on 200 subs. Oh, that's right. I forgot to put the links in the description today. I'll get those in. I mean, we'll put them in on the in the chat, and then I'll add them to the description after the stream is done. So there's my per picker list in the chat. So storage, I've got a 1TB 960 Pro M.2 from Samsung, and 3 4TB Western Digital green drives. PNY Quadro P6000, which has a lot of green on it. All my RGB elements will be set to green. And we've got a Thermaltake P5 Green Edition. So this is, I think this is not the tempered glass model, if I remember correctly. Maybe this is tempered glass. I can't remember if this is tempered glass or acrylic. But it's very green, it's very vertical, and it gives you a vertical GPU mount, so you can kind of show off that green shroud on the GPU. And then you can see where the Kraken will mount over here on the far side. And I've got Corsair RMX 850 watt, because why not? Fully modular. I had the replacement cables in green for this from Corsair, but they're not here. So whatever. Just know the green sleeved cables are meant to be a part of this. And then 6 140mm Corsair SP140 fans with green LEDs. So as I'm sure you guessed by now, it's a Hulk theme PC. All RGBs will be set to green to match the Hulk theme. And the reason... Yeah, so the reason I went with... I take it back. It won't be all green. I was going to do green and then do some purple in the memory, because, you know, purple shorts. But I couldn't think of a good way to visualize that. Okay. You know, probably if I was going to legitimately do this build in real life, I'd probably do custom sleeve cables and do like purple, black, and green, which is kind of a Joker color scheme too, I feel like. But
add a little purple or something, yeah.
Yeah, but you know, again, you need a little bit of purple in there for the shorts. But yeah, so the case choice actually, and I was really happy that they had a green version of this case, because I didn't know it when I looked for this particular case. So my reasoning for the Core P5 is that it's an open air case, so all your components, all your internals are exposed to the elements, and you know, if you follow Marvel at all, and even a little bit, you kind of know that being the Hulk means that you're a giant exposed nerve. So where the Hulk is extremely strong and powerful, he also feels an extreme amount of pain when he's in that form. And so that's why I kind of thought this case was pretty fitting, because everything's exposed. Okay. So, and just for giggles, my total budget, or my total cost of the build was a little over $10,000. So I have a $5,500 GPU. You know, the reasoning behind the parts choice is they're all over the top parts, right? Right. So extremely, you know, basically at the time of when I put this together, the most expensive, most powerful things that I could, you know, throw together, you know, bar going like a quad or a Xeon route and going with like a 22-core Xeon or something like that. But, right. All right, and Bear.
So up. I'm up, but even though I'm up, it's not really my build. So here is Wolf.
Alrighty. Hopefully this wasn't a surprise for Wolf.
Okay, well, I didn't know he was going to put me in front of the camera. I based it on Hawkeye, which...
All your parts are here, and all of your tabs as you need to go.
Okay. Which, I know... Movie Avengers didn't go with his colors, but I know purple was big on his colors in the comic books. So I chose this case, which is matte black with the purple inside. It's the Silverstone Premier RGB. I think it's ATX. If I can scroll over. There we go. ATX Mid Tower. This is really weird being in front of a camera.
If you don't want to, you don't have to.
Then there's the motherboard with... where's my mouse? There's my mouse. Mostly black and silver. It's really hard to find purple stuff, by the way. So that's the Asus Prime X299 Deluxe ATX motherboard, followed by the Intel Core i9. Not as exciting. Yep, just because it's big and bad. For the CPU cooler, got the NZXT Kraken RGB, so I can pick the color.
What color would you make it?
Purple, of course.
Same with your RAM.
And the RAM, yes, again RGB, so I can make it purple. This one's the G-Skill Trident Z RGB 16 gig.
Actually, you got 2 kits of those.
Yes, 2 of those. Also got a solid state, which I had to just because the price made me laugh.
And it was what colors?
Black and silver, it looks like. Then there's the video card. Again, black and silver. Hard to find purple on some of this stuff. Zotac GeForce GTX 1080 Ti. The power supply, just black. And purple case fans. Okay, back to Bear.
Cool. That's awesome. I like the Hawkeye build. I like Hawkeye's original colors, which are the black and purple here. And
Can you hear him? Oh. He's saying he likes your build.
I'm personally just a fan of purple in general, but that's another story.
Also, Dr. Zipucci said hello.
Hello. Remember, you helped with incompatibility.
I did help with some incompatibilities, but that's beside the point.
Alright, so with that, I'm going to throw the straw poll link in...
You should change it from Bear's build to Wolf's build.
Yeah. So I threw the straw poll link into the chat there, so you guys can go vote on that. Again, if you're watching the recording, by the time you see this, I should have all the links in the description, so you can just go down below for that if you would like to vote. Dr. Cipucci said good build, and I do concur.
I will relay that message when I see her again, which will be very soon.
Alright, and so next week's challenge, Bear.
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to do for next week's challenge? Because I don't have anything down in the doc.
Hey, you know what just came out in the other day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're probably going to talk about it here soon.
Yeah. So I think we should do a Threadripper based system.
Okay, we're going to rip some threads.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. Let's do a Threadripper based system. Just...
So, any special... Let's do either... I'm thinking maybe... I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm trying to... we talked about this before. We're trying to think about how we can differentiate some of these PC part picker challenges.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if we should go with like a one or the other theme or budget on these.
How about a virtual PC host server build?
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. So, a VM host... Threadripper build. Awesome. I'll add that to the doc so we don't forget.
I'll do that too. You're doing it. Cool. So, shall we head into the next... Oh, the next item is something that you definitely have to talk about.
Yeah, it is. So, we are at the pinnacle of what, most people who would be watching this are going to want to see. And that's going to be the giveaway winner. So, if those of you who weren't aware... there was a giveaway that I had started 2 weeks ago for my 150 sub.
Says no more than 5K for the build.
5,000? Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah. I'll add that. You keep going.
Yeah, we'll do. So, I had a 150 sub giveaway that I kicked off, which I was already at 160 by the time I kicked it off. I am now at 201. just before we went live. So thank you to everybody who subbed to the channel, everyone who signed up for the giveaway, and everybody who has supported my channel thus far, including you, Bear. And definitely for Dr. Zipucci for being possibly the most interactive member of our audience, as well as Burning Gems. He's been, pretty active in the community as well. So thanks to you two especially. But it was a random drawing on the winner. Unfortunately, it wasn't either one of you guys. I was pulling for you two, for one of you two to win.
That's okay.
Let's see, let me go to my winners tab. I drew the winner earlier today, and it is Rob H. I don't want to... His YouTube username includes his last name. I don't want to call him out in case he doesn't want me to call out his name.
Time to tweet at him, right?
Yeah, so I'll it doesn't... So this entry doesn't give me his Twitter handle. But I do have his email, and that's usually what I prefer to do is email. So Rob, if you're not watching, or if you are watching, I'll send you an email later tonight or early tomorrow morning and ask you for your details of how to get this Raspberry Pi Zero to you. And I'll give you 48 hours to respond. After 48 hours, if there's no response, I will draw a new winner. I'll do 48 hours from the moment I send the email, obviously, to be fair. So, congratulations, Rob, down in Jacksonville, Florida. So, there you go.
All right.
Not much else to say about that. So, guys, I do want to actually make one other quick announcement. So, something I talked to Bear about, and I think I tweeted out about this the other day. Basically, I'm hoping to hit 500 subs before the end of this year. So, if we can get 500 subs on Tito Tech Tube, by December 31st this year, I'm going to do a giveaway on this little guy here. This is the Zotac GTX 1050 Ti Mini.
Mine.
I'm actually going to be doing I'll do a video of this. I'm probably going to pair it either with my i3 or my i5 and do some benchmarking on it, and I'll do a video kind of showcasing this card. And I'll probably mention this again in the video as well, that if we hit 500 subs before December 31st of this year, I will definitely 100% guaranteed give this graphics card away. So guys, stay tuned for that. And I think with that, we can go ahead and move on to our first topic of the day.
All right.
Alright, so first thing we're going to do is go into a couple of just general news topics. This first one's going to be from Ars Technica, written by Cyrus Farivar? Sorry, I'm terrible at pronouncing names. Farivar, I guess. Farivar? So, a man ridicules Olive Garden's demand letter over trademark dispute. So essentially, there's a man by the name of Vincent Malone, goes by Vino, and he is a blogger. His site is allofgarden.com. ALLOF, not olive, all of. And basically he eats at Olive Garden and then blogs about it. Kind of reviews, their different seasonal specials and things like that. And essentially, he was using Olive Garden, the trademark name, Olive Garden, in different meta tags and keywords, things like that, on his site. And he actually got a letter or an email from the company, from Olive Garden, it wasn't from Olive Garden, it was from their parent company, the Darden Corporation, basically demanding that he pulls down his blog because it infringed on the trademark of Olive Garden. Supposedly. So the email came from, this is important to remember, came from Brand Enforcements at mm-darden.com. So I'm going to go and just skip over some of this stuff about basically how you can't infringe on a trademark just by mentioning the company. But basically, this is Vino's response here to Olive Garden, or to the parent company, Darden. He says, Mr. Forcemans, so may I call you Brandon? Since this is an asynchronous mode of communication, I'm going to assume that you are, and this guy's much smarter than I am, magnanimously acquiescing? I don't know, whatever. I'm going to assume that you agree. And I will refer to you as Brandon forthwith. I received your email yesterday. I am not aware of any law against reviewing food and describing it using the name of the company from which it is produced. Some might even call it nominative fair use. I have hopefully included a link to Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia. Here you both puts the TM on both words.
Yeah, I was gonna say, make sure to point out like how he's putting the TM where they need to be, the registered trademark things where they need to be.
For information on this concept, in case you are new, just click on the blue words to access the hyperlink TM, and you will be transported there in great haste. With that in mind, can you be more specific about what you would like me to do? If you want me to remove references to the Olive Garden from my blog, which I remind you solely consists of references to Olive Garden, I'm afraid I must decline. If you are asking for me to simply add trademark, this with the registered trademark symbol here, symbols, TM, I must also decline, as I do not know the alt key code for writing them, which I found hilarious.
Since he's using them everywhere in the letter, yeah.
Exactly. Perhaps you're asking me to take down my blog entirely. In doing so, Darndin Corporation would commit its largest crime against humanity since they started charging extra for toppings. Seriously, $2.99 for 2 lousy meatballs, and you're saying I ripped you off? Please respond within 9 days in limerick form. Again, I cracked up at this part. Wishing the whole Forceman's family a pleasant day. So, I just thought this was funny. I really enjoyed reading his response to Olive Garden, or to the Darndin Corporation, and just, companies that overstep their bounds and do ridiculous, stupid things like this because they think nobody, nobody knows better, right? Nobody will challenge them, or nobody will know any better that, oh no, I infringed on a trademark, let me hurry up and comply before I end up in jail,
Oh yeah.
So it kills me.
And looking at this, it just completely seems as though it's an automated system, most likely, in which it just found enough keywords, pings, whatnot from this guy's website, doing its usual thing, and it's like, hey, send that automated email, and the email that they sent off is so freaking generic. Just basically saying, please remove, all keywords, this, and this. So it's just like, okay, you don't even know exactly what you're going after. The automated system just knew it got pinged enough.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Alright guys, YouTube here will be using that same system soon.
Yeah, right. So, our next topic is...
Check out Philip DeFranco if you don't know what I'm talking about.
Dr. Zibucci just mentioned that he throws in that they overpriced their food, and then he proceeds to lol. So, next topic's in the chat as well. Another Ars Technica, this one by Dan Gooden, whose name I can pronounce much easier. Stealthy Google Play apps recorded calls and stole emails and text. So Google actually has expelled 20 apps from their store that they found had been installed on about 100 devices. So this wasn't super widespread, luckily, but apparently there were some apps that were basically working. So there's safeguards in place that Android has to prevent things like that from happening. But these apps had figured out a way to conceal their capabilities and get around those safeguards. I don't know that they mentioned anything specific here about how they did it.
They just said that they did it by posing as utilities for cleaning up unwanted files or backing up certain data.
Right. All that is just saying that they were, basically advertised to the user that's what these apps did, but that's not necessarily how they got around the actual Android safeguards.
Right.
But yeah, so essentially these apps contain functions for call recording, VoIP recording, or VoIP recording, recording from the device microphone, location monitoring, taking screenshots, taking photos with both device cameras, front and rear, fetching device information in files, and fetching user information, contacts, call logs, SMS, application-specific data. Basically everything sensitive and confidential on your phone was at the will of these applications.
I'm glad I'm on my phone.
Yeah. And so I know there's a mention in here in the article that some of these apps tried to basically repackage and re-upload to the store, but Google almost immediately caught them and then yet again bounced them out of the Play Store. So, just kind of a crazy story about, be careful what you download. Because these were actually in the Play Store, and we all know that downloading things from outside of the Play Store is definitely hazardous, because there's really no checks and balance for that like there is for the Play Store. But it's good to see that Google is definitely doing their job to take care of the consumer and stop things like this from getting out in the wild and being like mass installed apps.
I didn't think there was as many checks and balances on the Android and Google Play stores as there is for the Apple.
Yeah, there's definitely more stringent constraints to the Apple Store. I think it has more to do with so I believe the fee, if I remember correctly, to become a developer to upload apps to the Google App Store is like $5. Whereas I don't remember what it was for Android or for iOS, but I think iOS is something like 100 or maybe more. It could be less than that, but from what I remember, it was like $100 to be like an official developer that can actually add apps to the store. So there's actually like a program you have to sign up for. But again, it's good to know that even though these things made it through any of the blockades, that Google's staying on top of this enough to catch this before it was installed on too many devices. I mean, you gotta imagine these are probably not on the Play Store for very long if they're only on 100 devices between 20 different apps. So Dr. Speech says, makes me not want to touch the Android I was about to be given from my family. So I wouldn't worry about Android specifically. I would just be a little bit cautious about the apps that you're downloading, installing on your device. Definitely, if it only has a couple of installs and it has no reviews or very few reviews, be a little bit leery of it. But otherwise, you're probably fine.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Just know what you're putting onto your device before you do it.
Yeah, so I know the surface of the story is a little disheartening to see what people can do, but the takeaway I think from this is more of the more heartening, I guess, side of this, of that Google is staying on top of this and they're making sure to protect their environment, right? Protect their ecosystem from this malicious type of software. All right, so let's go ahead and unless you got anything else to add there, Bear.
No.
Jump to the next one.
All right.
So, continuing kind of on the theme of phones, jumping into a little bit of the hardware side of things, the Red Hydrogen phone gets a video preview. So, we reported, I think, last time or the time before, that Red had announced they were going to come out with a holographic phone, or a phone with a holographic screen, anyways. Right. So, it's about a $1,500 smartphone. And it's going to be a modular setup, kind of like the Moto Z. If you've seen that, you'll see it's got these pads here for pogo pins to be able to connect to on the lower bottom half of the screen there. So this particular device, you'll see the dual lens camera array up here. That is not the final. So MKHD actually did a video. He was the first one, I think, to actually get hands-on with the device, and he put out a video on it kind of explaining the 3 different prototypes that he was able to take a look at, one of which he couldn't show on camera because it was one that actually had a functional holographic display on it, which, by the way, they're holographic. What they're calling holographic is no glasses 3D, not like it's not projecting holograms in the air. But and so this one was the fit and finish version of the phone, where basically this is what the overall like body material will be like, what it will feel like in your hand, all that stuff. But the internals, the camera, none of that is the final product. But this is what they're shooting for the actual final fit and finish and material feel of the phone. So it's got some kind of rubbery grips on the sides. The phone is very large. It's a little bit bigger than like an iPhone 7 Plus.
Wow.
I think it's a 5.5 inch. or no, it's 5.7 inch display. Trying to see. I don't remember now if it was AMOLED or I think it was AMOLED, or no, that's right. It's not AMOLED. I'm an idiot. It's the it's their new hydrogen. So I forget if the phone is supposed to be hydrogen or if it's just the hydrogen sensor they're talking about. Because red cameras use hydrogen sensors for the actual camera sensor. That's why they're so high quality and why they're so sought after. So basically what Red is saying about this phone as far as camera quality is they expect it to basically be the next step down from an actual Red cinema camera, like a Red Dragon or a Red Weapon. They expect it to be above DSLR quality, or about, within the mirrorless DSLR range of quality at least. So I mean, this thing's gonna be pretty beast, but we gotta remember that we're also talking about Red. And Red as a company is notorious for nickel and diming the death out of you.
Right.
So I'm sure that by the time you do the first add-on attachment to turn it into an actual usable like DSLR or mirrorless, I guess it would be, camera, you're probably going to end up doubling or tripling the price of the phone. So there's things like that to think about.
Which reminds me, what is the price of the phone?
So there's two different prices. There's one, I want to say it was around $1,300, but which I think was the aluminum one, and then there's, I think, carbon fiber, don't quote me, was the other material, and that's like $1,600 thereabouts for just the price of just the phone. As far as I know, that doesn't include any of accessories or add-ons or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Wow. And yeah, Dr. Zapucci, it does look really nice, and it does look durable, except for the front of the screen. Like, if you go, I want to say, I don't know, I think 2/3 into that video, yeah, there's him holding it with the front of the screen facing outward.
Now you got to remember, this screen on this one is not the final screen. This is just a placeholder for fit and finish.
Right. But you're looking at the back of the phone there.
Where I'm paused at right now is the front.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm on the video right now. I don't know if it's still delayed on the live, but
probably.
Yeah, so looking at the front of the screen here. This isn't the final actual screen. It's just the body itself is what this one is. Mm-hmm. There's a separate one that he couldn't show off because of they didn't want to show the screen yet, basically. Gotcha. But I'm sorry. You go ahead.
No. I was gonna say the front of this does not look as durable as the rest of the whole case, but
right.
I mean, it still looks. I mean, I'd rather drop that than an iPhone. Actually,
right.
If I dropped a phone, I would rather it be the Red Hydrogen versus an iPhone.
Right.
Like, I don't want to drop it. Like, if I have a Red camera, that's going to be the last thing I want to drop in my hand. Right?
Yeah.
So
the I put a link in the chat to the video, and so once you get about a little over halfway in the video, you get to the point where they're showing him the version with the final screen, or not necessarily the final screen, but what's the prototype for what they actually want the screen to be.
And they had to blur
and you can
out.
see they actually have to they actually blur out the phone in his hands for that section, and all he can do is show you his face as he's watching it, and he does kind of a voiceover telling you kind of what was going on and what he was experiencing while he was watching that.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, there's three different actual ones. I'm trying to find the part in the video where he was able to show you kind of what it would look like with, I think it was in this video, maybe it was in an article, I don't remember now. I saw, there was one where they had a shot of what it would look like with, here it is. So yeah, towards the last minute or so of the video, he's able to show you what it looks like with the camera attachment stuck on it with the like a lens mount and everything for it to be able to operate as an actual camera. So the phone has on the right hand side a power button on the side, as well as the actual shutter button for recording and snapping pictures, and then on the opposite side has the kind of like your standard setup. Right side has power, left side has the volume rocker. Well, it's actually not a rocker, it's two separate buttons on this because of the grip design. So Burning Jim said Red camera seems overpriced for add-ons, etc. Wouldn't want to see the price for this or accessories. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So the phone itself, we know for the carbon fiber body is about $1,600 alone. And again, just like you said, Jim's, these that looked really funny.
Thanks.
The accessories like this, this camera attachment, and you'll see there's more pads on there for more pogo pins for you to keep adding on more accessories to it, in typical Red fashion. And I guarantee you that getting that module to slap on there will at least double the price of the phone.
Right.
Because again, that's what Red is famous for, is just gouging, really gouging.
You know, though,
price.
if I had the opportunity to have a Red phone, I would want the Red camera attachment.
Right.
Though, right. Like.
Right.
That,
yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It's something like it's almost worthless without it, I feel like, and so.
I said if.
Yeah. So I definitely gems. But yeah, without that attachment, it's basically worthless. But I guarantee you, it's not going to come with it, and you're going to have to buy that separately. A normal company. Well, and I take that back. Most companies will probably still do that, but you would hope that if the whole point of this is to be able to utilize the Red, what Red is known for, which is insanely high quality cameras, that they would include at least the basics of being able to use it as a insanely high quality camera in the box. But again, we won't know for sure until it actually officially releases and we get what the accessories are. But I mean, if anybody ever saw, I don't have the link for it, but Linus Tech Tips did a video unboxing their red weapon 8K camera when they got it, and showing. So he unboxed the body, which you got to buy the body. I think the body by itself was like $50,000, and by itself can do absolutely nothing. You literally have to buy separately the module that has all the controls on it, like the shutter controls, all the adjustments and everything. You have to buy separately the module to attach a battery to it. You have to buy separately the battery to attach to it.
Yeah.
You have to buy separately the lenses. I mean, it goes on and on and on like that. And I mean, it's
ridiculous. It's like buying a car and then they'd be like, all right, so what engine you going to buy to throw in there? Oh, that's cool. What seats are you going to buy so that you can actually sit and use it?
Yeah.
How about wheels? You're going to buy some wheels with that?
And it's not even like there's like, for the most part, it's not even like there's that big of like a difference. I think maybe there's one or two options. Like, I think at the end of that one video, there's a follow-up that he does that was obviously recorded later, and he's like, okay, so by the way, we got this one attachment module, and it didn't have the XLR inputs, so we had to throw that out and buy an entirely different attachment module to be able to get the XLR so that we can record audio onto the same device. I mean, they have proprietary media, the solid-state storage that you have to use with it is in a proprietary form, so you have to buy it from them. Now inside it's just a regular old SSD, but they put their own special casing around it. So I mean, yeah, it's we could talk about this for hours. It's just insane. But on to a little bit more PC tech oriented of a topic.
What? Phones aren't tech?
I said PC tech. So from PC World, we've got Gordon Maung, and the title starts with facepalm, so you know it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Intel's upcoming Coffee Lake CPUs won't work with today's motherboards. And subtitle here, builders and upgraders are crying foul as they lose their ability to upgrade in place on an older motherboard. So essentially, what's happened here is a tweet from ASRock. So I'm going to open this up here. Looks like Evan Jensen tweeted at ASRock and asked if the Z270 motherboard that he has would be able to support Coffee Lake CPUs, and ASRock replied with no, Coffee Lake CPU is not compatible with 200 series motherboards. So it's basically been officially announced, more or less. I mean, it's not an official announcement, but coming from a pretty reliable source, I would think, that Z270 is not going to support Coffee Lake. That means you're going to have to get a new Z370 motherboard. Now, whether it's a new socket or not, we don't know for sure. Gordon goes on in the article to talk about that it could just be a power requirements issue where Z270 was never meant to actually be able to support the amount of power that a 6-core CPU would need, and so they need to be able to bump up or beef up its power capacity. Could be that they're not going to officially support Z270 chipsets, but they may be able to. They may allow motherboard manufacturers to, decide whether or not to support the Coffee Lake chips on their older Z270 boards with a BIOS update, or it could just be that it's straight up going to be incompatible. They could put it on a new socket. Now it's going to be the same 14 nanometer architecture, so I don't know that it will necessarily be a different socket than the LGA 1151 that we have today.
Gotta remember to mute my phone when I'm streaming. Yeah. This is the second time now.
Jim's is laughing at you taking calls during the stream, but sometimes you just gotta take a call.
It's my father. I always pick up for him.
Yep. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta take a call,
He never calls.
Excuse me. Oh, it's getting late. James wants to call me too. But yeah, so basically, Bear, we just covered the fact that Coffee Lake is not going to be supported on Z270.
Yep.
You're going to need a Z370 chipset. So, again, we don't know for sure what's going to be, why it's not going to be not supported, if it's just a power issue, if it's going to be a new socket, if it's going to be just Intel's not going to officially support it, and maybe we could get a BIOS update from some manufacturers. Like ASRock, I believe it was the first one to allow us to overclock Skylake non-K SKU chips, unofficially, before it got shut down. But I think you can technically still get away with it. But anyways, so sometimes motherboard manufacturers can allow things that aren't officially supported to continue to work. So if it's on the same socket and it's not a power restriction issue, maybe we could see Coffee Lake on a Z270 board, but I wouldn't count on it.
Yeah. No, it's sad because I feel like the Z270 just came out, and now it's just going to be a thing of the past as soon as Coffee Lake comes out.
To be fair though, I fully expected Coffee Lake not to run on Z270 because typically with Intel, from what I recall, we usually get 2 chipsets per socket, right? So each socket you get 2 chipsets that'll work on it, and then by the time it's time for the 3rd chipset update, they move on to a new socket, and you can't use the previous motherboards anyways. So So Jim's mentioned why is this a problem with upward compatibility with Intel's. So yeah, so say an AM4 board not running Threadripper is
okay.
A big difference. Yeah, that's a big difference from a Z270 not running Coffee Lake, because Coffee Lake is the successor to the same what's the word I'm looking for here? Like kind of the consumer line, the mainstream line, right?
Right.
So Threadripper is the high-end desktop line, and mainstream and high-end desktop have always mainstream and high-end desktop have always been on separate platforms. So if you were talking about, say, or Skylake X not being supported on LGA 1151 motherboard, then yeah, that doesn't make any sense. But talking about the next generation of Intel CPU not being supported on it, I can see where people are coming from, because now it's a tick-tock instead of a tick-tock cycle. You would kind of expect that the second talk would still be on the same platform and still be backwards compatible, because when you go from Skylake to Kaby Lake, all you need is a BIOS update if you still have a Z170 board. So like I said, I can kind of see where people are coming from, but at the same time, this is the 3rd iteration, and in the recent Intel history, from what I recall, every 3rd iteration you have to upgrade to the next platform anyways, because usually by then they've changed the socket.
So I was gonna say though, for Threadripper, you're not really gonna see a lot of consumers buying Threadripper. So Threadripper is probably gonna be more up like Jay's alley.
Right.
Paul, Kyle, that sort of thing. People who are not only probably using that system for gaming and streaming at the same time, but it might also be sitting in the background processing a video,
Right.
all at once. Because Threadripper is really big, going to be real powerful. At the same time, like you were saying, same thing with Intel. Their multi-core, multi-thread chipsets were just a different socket. They were 2011, right? So
Yes, 2011. And now we're on 2066 for Kaby Lake and Skylake X.
right. So I mean, they're real expensive chipsets, which means that you're probably going to get different board anyways, because you wouldn't want to throw an enthusiast chipset onto a standard consumer board anyhow.
Right.
It just wouldn't work out the same. And I think it helps the manufacturers as well, going, okay, this is going to be the enthusiast board, so we put in all the bells and whistles on the enthusiast boards.
Yeah.
So I want Threadripper too, please.
Yeah. So our next topic here is going to be about Vega, actually. So I already threw that in the chat for you guys. This is from Kit Guru. So RX Vega 56 gaming benchmarks and GTX 1070 comparisons show up online. So we know that Vega was announced. We know that had official paper announcement finally. We're expecting. I don't think we got a hard date. Last I heard was middle of this month, basically, to start seeing it, and then sometime in September we should see add-on board partners be able to produce something for us. But we do have, I believe this was visually reported on Tweakdown, RX Vega 56 benchmarks, which show that in, let's see, Doom, Battlefield 1, Civ 6, Call of Duty, Infinite Warfare, all run at 1440p against a 1070. So just kind of burning down through the specs here real quick. So in Battlefield 1 Ultra Preset, the Vega 56 ran at over 95 frames per second, and the 1070 managed 72 frames per second. So the report doesn't say if DirectX 12 was used or not, but they do mention that it seems more in line with DirectX 12 scores for the 1070. In Doom, Vega scored 101.2 frames, and the 1070 was 84.6. And so, I mean, again, we're seeing significant uplift in performance going with Vega. Call of Duty, Infinite Warfare, running at highest presets. Vega 56 is listed at 99.9, so just under 100 frames per second, and GTX 1070 is 92. Civ 6, we're looking at Vega 85, and 1070 at 72. So in every benchmark run, the Vega chip comes out above, even if it's by just a small margin. So obviously these aren't verified, they're leaked, they're not officially 100% confirmed, but usually with this stuff it's pretty on point. Especially with it being Vega and all this stuff going around about people thinking Vega's just gonna fall flat on the performance front. I wouldn't be surprised if AMD may have had a little bit of a nudge behind some of these leaks, but anywho, so I know Dr. Bucci mentioned the Vega bundles. One of the things that was announced, if you guys aren't aware, was that there were going to be Radeon bundles. I think it was Black, Red, and Aqua bundles. Basically, for $100 over the normal MSRP of the graphics card, you could get the video card, 2 games bundled with it that vary based on your region. Which I think it was the New Castlevania and something else. Or no, New Wolfenstein, not Castlevania, good lord. Wolfenstein 2, and then I can't remember what the other the game was. And then $100 rebate on a motherboard, or no, was it a motherboard?
I think.
Bear, help me out here. I can't remember now.
I think he's right.
It was a two.
It has to do with
it was
It was a motherboard and graphics
it was a motherboard
card
CPU combo.
combination. because
Well,
then
it
you're
was a
getting-
motherboard CPU combo.
Right.
Yeah.
So then you're getting not only a GPU with your motherboard,
Right.
you're getting a good price with that, and that's helping with system builders versus just crypto miners who just
Right,
want
and this
the
was
part.
for, I believe this was a Ryzen 7 and X370 motherboard combo specifically. But with that combo, you get a $100 rebate, and then there was a $200 rebate on a very specific Samsung 1440p ultra wide monitor, which I believe was also curved. So these rebates have to be used. The thing about the bundle is you have to buy all the stuff at the same time. You don't just get the rebate card and can buy these at a later date. So you have to buy the Vega GPU, the Ryzen 7 and motherboard combo, and the Samsung monitor all in one go. But you do get $300 back. You save a net of $200 because you do have to pay $100 over MSRP. But if you factor in the games, they say the games are $120 value. Take that as you will, but still, it's a decent bundle. Basically, what they're trying to do with this is trying and ensure that there's less of a chance of them getting any getting bought out by crypto miners, right? Before they can get into the gamers' hands, because crypto miners don't want to purchase all this extra hardware. They're not going to want to purchase a Ryzen 7 and an X370 and a monitor to go along with these GPUs. They want to have a minimal investment in extra hardware over the GPU. So the other thing to note that is there's going to be a limited. I don't know that they said what the quantities were, but there's going to be a limited edition of these brushed aluminum versions of the GPUs that will come with these bundles, and then once they run out of those, it'll go to the standard black and red.
Nice.
So I don't have a specific article for this next one. This is just AMD's website, basically saying that Threadripper is here and it's available for pre-order. So, excuse me, August 10th is the on-shelf date for Threadripper. So 1 week from today. What's up?
Gems.
Yeah.
At the price of a CPU and boards, my kid might just have to forget about any college plan. Daddy wants a computer.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, guys. I don't know why I can't stop yawning tonight. I know I don't sleep. But anyways. So August 10th, Threadripper is officially on store shelves. So there was a 1900X model announced in addition to the 1920 and 1950X. So the 1900 is the 8-core 16-thread, similar to an 1800X, but by stepping up to the Threadripper version, you get 64 PCIe lanes available to you in addition. Yeah, so Dr. Zipucci just mentioned that Jay's 2 cents got sent Intel basically sent him a CPU, I think it was a 7820X, I don't remember.
I don't know. But
Or
Intel
7920,
sent him a
one of the
CPU
two.
on the same week
Yeah.
that Threadripper
Yeah,
was out.
so they sent him a
Or AMD
CPU with
sent
no...
Threadripper.
Right, they sent him a CPU with no communication. They didn't give him, usually, from what I understand, whenever a company reaches out to you, they go, or before they send you something, they reach out and say, hey, we want to send you this so you can do a video on it, do a review, blah, 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 whatever. They give you some sort of heads up. They'll make sure they send you supporting hardware if they need to get a build up and running, to actually do a video on it. But Jay said, they actually just sent him this CPU with no communication. I believe Dimitri at Hardware Canucks actually posted something on Twitter where he had, I think it was Dimitri, I can't remember now, he had the 2 Threadripper boxes.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, there was an envelope. He got sent the CPU too. And on top of those 2 boxes, he had this little brown envelope that had the Intel CPU in it. So, I feel like that kind of shows you where Intel's at in this game, right? AMD is fully invested in destroying Intel right now, and I'm loving it. It's awesome. But yeah, so anyways, 1900X will start at $550. The 1920 is $800, $799, and then the 1950X will be the full $1,000, $999. So 8-core, 12-core, and 16-core with threads that double those numbers. So yeah, Threadripper is basically here. Here soon we should start seeing actual performance videos from, Gamers Nexus, Jay's 2 Cents, Paul's Hardware, all the big guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward
Cannot,
to
not
the next
say
couple of weeks.
as I'm wearing his shirt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so the next few weeks are definitely going to be, they're going to be good times, for AMD anyways. So
Got cable wrapped around me.
Gems. Intel poop emoji.
Oh, there's an Intel poop emoji? That is
Nah.
the best emoji I think they released recently.
There should be an Intel poop emoji. Oh,
Make it
man.
a blue,
So, guys, two things actually with this topic, because it's a Tweaktown topic, and normally I have to apologize about you seeing all the ads on stream, but guess what, guys? Da-da-da-da! There's no ads showing up here. What's going on here? Have you guys noticed that there's been a lack of ads in most of the articles that I've been looking at today? Well, there's a video coming on how to do that without having to install browser plugins using a Raspberry Pi. Anyways, so Tweakdown here. So we're done with hardware news. There's obviously more we can talk about, but it's 4 minutes till what's supposed to be the end of the show, and I've got a lot more to get through. I ended up really topic heavy because there was a lot of interesting stuff I found.
I was going to say,
mostly
there was a lot of topics here for this one.
Yeah, I ran into a lot of really interesting stuff today. I kept swapping stuff out and sticking things out, and so these next two will be really quick. A couple of GTA 5 mods that are super interesting looking. So there's a trailer here for a Grand Theft Auto, it's Grand Theft Space, is what they're calling this one. This is a work in progress mod. But basically, basically they're adding space travel to Grand Theft Auto 5 on PC. Because PC Master Race, woo! Let's skip through some of this. So you can see going out on the space shuttle, there's Mars, and landing on other planets, riding around on a moon rover. Finding alien eggs.
Do these have what's it called?
Alien space battles. What's up?
I was gonna say, does this have? I'll just watch it real quick. Go for it.
And it looks like there's some sort of so I'm not sure what this scene's supposed to be. I don't know if they're trying to do a hyper jump type thing or something, or going into hyperspace. I don't know. But yeah, just a super awesome looking mod that's coming down the pipeline. And the next one I want to jump into real quick, another GTA 5 mod. This one's on PC Gamer. Joe Donnelly posted this. So GTA 5 Natural Vision Remastered Overhaul mod. This one looks amazing. It doesn't rely on reshade or I can't think of what the other one is. There's a couple. But it's basically a standalone mod. And they say that it doesn't add, it adds minimal overhead from vanilla version. So it doesn't really add any, it's not supposed to drop your performance by much, increasing the fidelity this much. But yeah, it's if you kind of go through some of this, it's a beautiful looking mod. This one I don't think has any of the side-by-side comparisons, but if you search on the Natural Vision,
soon.
Yeah, well, there's already some out there. There's 2 or 3 that I watched after I saw this. But yeah, if you look, just search Natural Vision GTA 5 on YouTube. I'm sure you'll find some of the side-by-sides. But yeah, it doesn't rely on Redux, doesn't rely on anything else. It's its own standalone graphics overhaul mod. And there's some screenshots here too to show you just how amazing this mod looks.
It looks real good.
It's definitely on my checklist of mods to check out for GTA 5. Alright, so I'm going to dive into the last 2 topics here really quickly because it's 10 o'clock. Ars Technica here on the Bitcoin network splitting in half. This was by Timothy B. Lee. So basically, what's happened is, as of August 1st, there's a hard fork in the Bitcoin blockchain because there's 2 factions essentially that couldn't come to agreement on the future of Bitcoin. What's happening is the transaction size of Bitcoin is limited to 1 megabyte. and because of the size of the blockchain, that limits it to 7 transactions per block, and so it's kind of hindering the coin itself and the network. So there's I forget what they call them now, the large block, I guess. Anyways, Bitcoin Cash is what split off of it on the first, and the guys who split off Bitcoin Cash increased the size. I don't remember if it says what the size limit of the transaction ledger or the block was increased to. I want to say 2 megabytes, but I feel like that's not right. Anyways, so they wanted to increase the size. The hardcore Bitcoiners did not want to do that because they were afraid that it would lead to, basically, the increase in size would make it that much harder to mine, and the extra storage requirements that would incur would make it harder for smaller miners to continue mining. It would kind of push it into a smaller group of larger miners, which would make it easier for Bitcoin to become centralized and controlled by a single government, which is kind of the opposite of what Bitcoin wants to do, right? It's supposed to be a decentralized currency. So Bitcoin Cash kind of argued against that, saying that, the cost of bandwidth and storage is, going lower every day or every year. Over time it keeps getting cheaper for storage and bandwidth, and so it shouldn't really be a concern. So they couldn't agree, so on August 1st they split. There was a hard fork, so if you had any Bitcoin in your wallet before the split happened, you now have Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, because what happens is they share the same blockchain. So if you had 1 Bitcoin before, you now have 1 Bitcoin and 1 Bitcoin Cash that you'll be able to access. So going forward, they'll be completely separate on their own blockchains, on their own transaction ledger, but before August 1st, they share the same transaction ledger. Bitcoin Cash still needs to prove itself. It could still die, it still could just fade off into the distance, but by splitting off of Bitcoin rather than creating a new cryptocurrency, they have a much higher chance of succeeding. So as of the writing of this article, I haven't checked it recently, Bitcoin Cash was at a value of about $600 versus Bitcoin at, about when this article came out, it was about $2,700. So I don't know what those values are currently, but I know when Bitcoin Cash first split, it was at about $300, so it definitely saw some increase in price. So it seems like it maybe could stick. We'll have to see. Time will tell, kind of thing. So just something interesting to be aware of on the cryptocurrency front. And my wife texts me, says she's getting crabby, so we're gonna finish the last topic so my wife and I can go to bed. This one is from prnewswire.com. No clue who the site is, but I saw a tweet about this today, and this was super interesting. High Fidelity announces integration of HTC Vive trackers for full body motion capture. And I believe this is the video over here. Hopefully this shows up. Yeah. So you can see they're strapping on, they got strap-ons on their feet, they're holding the Vive controllers, and then they've got a chest piece there. As well as, looks like there's probably a sensor possibly lower down too. It looks like there's some sensor on your lower back there, and you'll see them playing ping pong in virtual reality here using full body motion control. Looks like they're supposed to be in separate rooms, maybe in completely separate locations. Yes, just really interesting seeing them being able to do these full body motion tracking in virtual reality with the Vive. So they're actually playing some sort of giant hacky sack here, playing basketball in VR. Apparently it's Power Rangers, it looks like. I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Dancing.
What on earth?
Yeah, but just the potential that this has for VR to kind of step it up to the next level, pretty awesome. It looks like it really only adds 2 additional tracking, or I guess 4 additional tracking devices, because you've already got the Vive controllers, takes care of your hands, you got 2 to your feet, and there's one on your lower back behind you, and then one on your chest. So between all those points, it's able to kind of figure out where everything else is and how your arms are moving, your legs are moving, stuff like that. So I just thought that was really interesting. It'd be kind of interesting to see what happens here. The only thing I will say is the Vive is still $800 to get into. You know, Oculus has used all that Facebook money to bring their price down to like $400. I'd really like to see the Vive HTC be able to get that price down. You know, if they get down to around $600, even, like, just do something to get this a little bit more accessible.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's one of the biggest things that's killing it right now is the cost of entry, and that's, you know, I've been tempted to go in on the Rift because of how far down the prices come, but man, I can't get over the whole owned by Facebook and all the shenanigans that Facebook is pulling with the Rift, with tracking and data collection. I just, you know, and I've used both, and as far as I'm concerned, the Vive is definitely the better experience between the two. So, yeah. That's all I've got on that. Anything to add there, Bear?
No.
Any thoughts?
I think that, I don't know, is anyone actually going to... I want to play a game. Let me just strap on, you know, 2 things to my feet, a thing around my belly, a thing around my chest. Now I got both controllers in my hand and the headset over the face. That just seems like so much to me. And it's for something that, you know, they say and they recommend, don't do it for more than, you know, 30 minutes at a time. And then take a 15-minute break, right?
Right.
So, or an hour at a time or something like that. And so, to me, it just seems, I don't know, a lot. And expensive,
Yeah.
like you said.
Yeah. Alright, so one final thing I want to mention, kind of going back to cryptocurrency a little bit, and Tuxebuchi, I'll check in a little bit when I get a chance. Tuxebuchi's going to post something on Twitter, I guess.
Yeah.
Jim, mentioned, I bet somebody got crazy rich over that deal, I believe talking about the split, and one thing that did happen when that split happened, up to when the split happened, the price of Bitcoin kind of rose back up a bit. It was, you know, in the lower 2000s, like 2200, 2300 if I remember correctly, and then it kind of rose back up to about the $2,700 mark. There was an article on Ars Technica, I believe, that I saw, don't have the link, where the WannaCry virus guys, if you guys happen to remember them, actually... so someone had some sort of bot or something kind of keeping an eye on that wallet address, and that wallet address was dumped because right whenever that spike in value happened. So they kind of got out with about $145,000 worth of Bitcoin by the time they cashed it out.
Wow.
So, yeah. Second thing that I saw that was really interesting about WannaCry was, I don't remember his name now, and I don't have the article here. I don't know if I put it on Discord. No, I did not. The guy the security researcher who accidentally pulled the kill switch on WannaCry by basically purchasing the domain.
Yeah.
So there's a kill switch that was linked to if someone purchased the domain that it was, you know, routing through. If someone actually purchased that domain name, then it would kill itself. Apparently he was at DEF CON, so it's a security conference out in, I think, LA. He was out at DEF CON and actually got picked up by U.S. Marshals and has been not heard from as of, 2 o'clock today, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, from what I read. And again, this is ever evolving.
Wow.
But as of that point, it had been 24 hours since his friends or family had heard from him. There was a listing on the U.S. Marshals page that was like, basically saying, hey, this guy's put into custody. Here's a number to call if you need to, check up on him or whatever. And so his buddy called in. They were like, yeah, we don't know who that is. He's never been here before. We've never seen him before. And the listing was removed from their website after that. But the article had a screenshot of, yeah. It was pretty ridiculous. Like, it's a very interesting topic, and can definitely be dove into quite a bit
Mm-hmm.
more. But I don't really have time to do that right now. So maybe we'll talk about it next time.
Another time.
We'll see what. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, on that note, guys, it's 10 after. I think it's about time that we go ahead and roll on out of here.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Darcy Pucci, I'll check on that. I may not get back to you till tomorrow because it's late and I'm going to bed. But
and I'm about ready
definitely
to
we'll
run
catch up
out
with you
the door.
guys. So, Jim's, Darcy Pucci, thanks for hanging out with us. And until next time, guys, it's Johnny O, and
Fair with If That's the Case.
and we'll catch you guys next time. Stay classy.